Hi, my name is Lee, and today we are going to go through my winter reads, December, January, February. Let's go. Let's start with some honorable mentions. I did read The Air Affair by Jasper Fjord, one of my least favorite books of all of 2021. I'm not really going to say anything more about it. I skimmed it, and I don't really feel like I have any thoughts that really are worth talking about. I just really didn't like it. Otherwise, I would like to also mention that I did read Venus and Adonis by William Shakespeare. I have a TBR jar video up already about this book. And then I also read Pudding Head Wilson. My review for this should already be up or is coming for a TBR jar video soon. But I did really like this one. I also read Shadow Magic. I just finished this in February, so this is more recent. Did not like this book. I'm very disappointed in not enjoying this. It really does feel like a debut. It feels unpolished. This edition actually has an intro by the author talking about how she also feels this way, kind of. So I do think I'm going to continue with the rest of the Lyra books, but this one is not good. I read Hot Water by P.G. Wodehouse. I listened to this as an audiobook. I think I've mentioned this before, but I don't like consuming P.G. Wodehouse books through audio formats. I feel like I miss details that are actually really funny or clever. I really enjoyed Hot Water. I think it's one of my favorites of P.G. Wodehouse. But I also feel like I want to reread it like next year because I feel like I missed bits in the audiobook. And this is something that I only feel like with P.G. Wodehouse. When I listen to other audiobooks by other authors, I don't feel this way. I don't know, it's just P.G. Wodehouse for me. And then recently, I just finished 13 Little Blue Envelopes by Maureen Johnson. Last year, I had a whole Maureen Johnson kick reading her Truly Devious series in like a week. It wasn't a week, but it felt like a week to me. So I thought I would go into her backlist a little bit and read one of her first books, which is 13 Little Blue Envelopes. It's about this young teenager named Ginny, who gets these letters from her dead aunt to go around the world, kind of following her aunt's footsteps through Europe. Starting in London and going all the way to Greece, Norway, Paris, Italy, the highlights. You know, I really enjoyed this book. I don't think it's Maureen Johnson's best work, but I did really enjoy it. There's issues, of course, with it. Where is her mother? Like, literally, why would her mother let her go by herself on this expedition? I don't know. That doesn't seem quite to be as much of an issue for me, because Maureen Johnson's books always seem to need that, like, extra push of disbelief in them. I went in expecting that, so it was okay. I read a lot of sequels, prequels, continuations, or parts of series. I finished a series. I started Shadow Magic, a series. I have a lot of series now to talk about. I read Princess Academy, Palace of Stone, which is the second book of the Princess Academy trilogy. I didn't like this book. Well, that's not exact. I didn't like the first half of this book. I felt like it was really boring. I'm not sure if I want to own this book, but I'm going to wait to give it away until after I've read the third book, just in case I really love the third book and then I will want the whole series. I don't have to go rebuy it.
Even though this copy doesn't match my Princess Academy edition.
No one cares. Whatever. The first book that I read all of 2022 was Carney's House Party by Maud Hart Lovelace. This is part of the Deep Valley series, even though it's not technically part of the Betsy-Tacy books. It's set in the same world. Betsy shows up in this. Goodness gracious, I love Betsy's intro in this book. I do really enjoy this book. This is about Carney, who's a side character in the Betsy-Tacy books. She comes back from college for the summer. All of her friends have moved away or have gone off to college somewhere else, and so they're not in Deep Valley anymore. And so she decides to get, and her mother offers to get a house party together where other girls from college or out and about in the state can come and stay in their house for the summer for like 3 months. So it's Carney, her friend from college, Isabel, her her oldest friend of all time, Bonnie, comes, and then Betsy later on joins the party as well. You get Carney as she is trying to figure out whether her high school sweetheart is actually her true love. I continued with some Nero Wolfe. I read And Four to Go. I love Nero Wolfe mysteries. This is a collection of 4 short stories. Get it? And Four to Go. They're all based around holidays from Christmas, Easter, 4th of July, and I think April Fool's Day. They're super fun. Different ones, it varies because they're novellas. I listened to this as an audiobook. It was good. Then I also continued the series of unfortunate events. I read the Eratz Elevator, and The Vile Village by Lemony Snicket. These are books 6 and 7 of the series. They are following the same format of the kids get a new guardian and then Count Olaf shows up, ruins everything. Then I read and finished Arabella, Traitor of Mars by David D. Levine. I've talked about Arabella and the Battle of Venus. I don't think I talked about the first book, but this was a trilogy that I finished in January. I loved this trilogy. I mean, I have problems with it, obviously. I always have problems with books. But I did have issues in that the pacing felt off. I kind of was disappointed in the last book being very heavy on battle and war and less about other things that the other books really had better balance with. The last book also spans across like 5 years, which the other books span a few months. And so I felt like it felt a little different, and I'm not sure if I really loved that bit. I do highly recommend this series, though. Arabella of Mars is about a young woman named Arabella Ashby. She's born on Mars, and she's sent home to England after her father dies, so that way she can find a husband. But then, in England, she figures out that there's something wrong, and she has to go back to Mars as soon as possible. She dresses up as a boy and joins a merchant ship to get as fast to Mars as possible. The first book, at least, is about her on this ship and trying to disguise herself. And they're set in a Regency steampunk world, very inspired by Jane Austen, but also Edgar Rice Burroughs, with some Aubrey Martrand, Master and Commander, Horatio Hornblower stuff mixed in all together. And I feel like if you had just told me about this, I would be like, oh, that won't work. But it kind of does here, and I really like it. And I really like Arabella as a character. So I do highly, highly recommend it. Okay? Let's go on to my last book. Oksi is a fairy tale retelling. I don't remember the author. Let me put that here. This book is a graphic novel. It's a fairy tale retelling based on, I think it's really old Swedish fairy folklore stuff. This book is insane. The art is amazing. The story is super creepy, almost freaky. There's murder of small baby animals in it, which I was horrified by, but you might not be. It's about a bear who takes on this strange creature as her own child, but this creature has evil within it that it doesn't know how to control. This book is insane. I really, really liked it, but it's also a book I'm not sure how to recommend to a lot of people. It's so interesting, but it's so freaky, and in some things, I want to have more of an understanding of the folklore behind it that inspired it, that it's retelling. I couldn't find what it was referring to. I wanted more references at the back. I always want more references in the back for fairy tales. I know I'm weird. Most people are just like, oh, it's so nice. It's Snow White. You can't get anything more. I'm like, no, tell me, are you referring to Snow White from Grimm? Is it the Grimm version you're referring to, or have you just watched the Disney movie? Because some people have only watched the Disney movie, and then they're like, I'm going to retell Snow White only having watched the Disney movie. I just want more references in the back of fairy tale books where they're like, hey, this is the stuff. There is an author's note, which I do really like. I love it when there's an author's note in fairy tale retellings. Okay, anyway, that is my wrap-up. Let me know in the comments what you're reading, what you read in winter, what you're hoping to read in the summer months. Or just talk to me about any of the books I've read in this video or other videos. Just talk to me. I don't know. You can also like this video, hit subscribe if you're so inclined. There's also a notification bell if you don't want to miss any of my videos, because I do tend to be a little bit weird on my upload schedule. I apologize. Anyway, I hope you're reading good books, and I hope you're having a lovely afternoon. Bye.